Shout out Big Steve.
Welcome, Big Brain MMA Octagon 65 Paradeiser versus Keita. I put in Paradeiser versus Kurhela. There you go. Mistake. Really high level Octagon card. We're going to break it down from top to bottom, and we're going to attempt to make some money on it. Per usual, no UFC, no problem. All right, there was no UFC last week. We bet on KSW and boxing, Fury versus Usyk. Made some money, but I'll talk about that on early teas for UFC, probably early next year. So I don't want to waste too much time. I want to spend it on this card. 26,000 up for the year. We've got to bet on these regionals. We're going to make as much money before the end of the year, and then we start fresh again. All right, I'll do a little overview of my year. It was an interesting year, to say the least. Second year full-time betting. And, I'll be doing a Rising card breakdown. So Christmas for me tomorrow, and then the day after I'll be doing some Rising breakdowns. So not as many views on KSW, even though there's no UFC, but this is a podcast for the hardcores, right? There's people out there that want to hear breakdowns and regionals. They want to make money on regionals, so we'll keep on doing them. All right, so let's get into it. As I said, really, really high-level card. At least 8 of these fighters could be in the UFC. Some of them already have been in there. Carlos Vemola, Igor Severino just been cut. Lucia Podolova just been cut. So, high-level card, 3 title fights. So let's get into it, shall we? Let's start with Jakub Batfalsky versus Dominik Toporcer. So this is 2 young kids, I think 22, 21. And Jakub Batfalsky, he is a decent-sized favorite, $1.40. It makes sense. He's already made his debut in Octagon against Sami Zarabi. I faded him there as an underdog, 30-27, beautiful play. He's gone and rebounded 1-2 fights back-to-back. He fought PK Zada, 4-0 guy, and honestly, I thought he was very lucky to win. He still makes the same mistakes as he's made in his one loss. He's a little bit green. He's got good boxing. He's very scrappy, but easy to take down and loses position even when he's on top. So obviously, he's going to improve. He's got a better record. He's got a high level of competition. Dominik El Diablo, very young as well, and making his debut in Octagon, but just, same weaknesses. He's getting taken down and he's getting laid on for 15 minutes. But he's losing to, a 1-0 and a 6-6 guy, and just has 0 get-ups, where Jakub actually, has get-ups, and sometimes he throws elbows and punches from the bottom, which makes his, fights competitive. Dominik just has no get-ups. So, it makes sense for Jakub to be a favorite. At first, I thought, ain't no way I'm playing $1.40 on this kid that, is still green and he can be taken down and, as I said, makes mistakes, but I think this could be a levels fight. I think you could even get a finish like a guillotine or something on this Dominik. So, makes sense. Do I want to play $1.40? A little bit. We'll see. All right. Got to address the comments and then we'll move on. Mr. Demo. Big up, Steve. Hello, Mr. Demo. Can you teach me how to bet these lines before you cook them? Just get a Bet365, my friend. Get a Bet365. The best book in the world. Bakayako, one of the goats. Let's effing go. Dogfather, peace, we can just fade him. The Kexel effect. Yeah. I mean, CLV means nothing. I hated having CLV for KSW. All right. Let's move on. Marko Novak versus Eemil Kurhela. Competitive fight, in my opinion. Novak, slight underdog. He's always the underdog, right? Underdog against Conrad for some reason, who was 8-10 at the time, knocks him out. Underdog to Mateusz, who's actually a decent fighter. He made his debut in KSW, beats him. Underdog to Radek Rashul, beats him. Underdog to Dennis Ilbay, and he was winning that fight, and then he got knocked out in round 3. There's no shame in that. I think Dennis Ilbay, one of the better opponents that Novak has fought. And he's a kickboxer by trade, but he loves to grapple and take the back and grind opponents out. That's how he's won all these fights pretty much. Eemil Kurhela made his debut in Octagon against Max Holzer. Not an easy debut at all. I think Holzer is UFC ready. Showed really good takedown defense in round 1 and round 2, actually. And then just near the end of round 2, gave up his back. And Max landed a really, really good opportunistic rear naked choke. I think Max has really good rear naked chokes, which is a skill in its own. Other than that, not the highest level of opposition. been fighting in this cage promotion, I think in Finland maybe. And yeah, just a lot of bums. He's lost his other fight to Dominik Gorovsky. He got hurt in round 2, and then again another opportunistic rear naked choke, and he went out cold. So I get the feeling that he kind of slows down. Like he can't really put 15 minutes together. He always starts off well. He's got good calf kicks. He has a really good lead check hook. So yeah, I don't really know. Like Mark Novak, he's not really dangerous at all. So if he's going to grapple him, I think Max Holzer, he's a much better grappler, and Kurhela did much better in round 1. And the pressure, Novak is a bit more patient on the outside. So I feel like Kurhela can do well early, be more powerful, better striker, and then forces Novak to grappling, and then Novak might be able to get something going in rounds 2 and 3 to maybe eke out a decision. But yeah, his wrestling's not the best, but he's really good in the clinch. Just like he keeps clinching, throwing knees to the body, elbows, and just looks to get to the back. So yeah, from a betting perspective, too competitive. I could make the argument for both. Yeah, it's a tough one to bet personally for me. Pirate, what's up? Ultimate soy match. You could say that. I don't think Eemil's that soy personally. He looks the part. He just folds. UFC betting experience or Ube. Feel the pain not having bet online. Well, mate, you're not missing out on anything because the odds are not out on bet online. Bet online's been slacking very much. Big Bird, Marko Novak looks like your cousin. According to Big Bird, I look like every single fighter in the world, even the ones that don't look like me. But anyway, let's move on. Cecilie Bolander versus Sara Luzar Smajic. Interesting fight. Bolander is a judoka, massive favorite. She just lost a split decision to Lucia Pudilova, who we'll talk about soon enough. And yeah, she essentially gets judo throws and a round 1 sub. We armbar, kind of like a Ginger Ronda. Or she just has competitive, decisions, right? Split decisions. She went to a split decision right before OKTAGON against Nina Milosevic. And yeah, then she had a split against Lucia Pudilova. And Pudilova, to be honest, was beating the crap out of her. And she kind of cracked her in the round 1. She finally hit a takedown in round 2 and had some top time. And round 3 was competitive, hence why it was a split. So she can throw hands. She's not a complete quitter when she can't hit the armbar, but just fights end up being competitive if she can't hit that round 1 sub. Sara, Sara is a Croatian chick. She's on a big layoff. She's coming off a couple of nasty injuries, and she's moving up to bantamweight from flyweight. She was ranked in KSW, which doesn't really mean much. You get 1 win in KSW, you get ranked over there in the female division. She beat Atana Alvarez, who's decent. She's a bit better now, but she was a bit younger 3 months ago. And she beat Natalia, who's decent. It was just like a 3-round striking fight. And then she lost to Eemil, who is a boxer, Polish boxer. She got cracked bad there. Could have been a stoppage in round 1. And just kind of grappled a little bit later on in the fight, but, got reversed and lost the decision. Ultimately, Cecilie is a massive favorite, as I just said. If she doesn't get a round 1 sub, she never really covers this line. And Smajic looks good. She's got good striking on the outside. She's tall. She's long. Against Aitana, she showed that she has good takedown defense. But there's so many questions. Apparently, she's a blue belt. My boy Bakayako said she's a blue belt, and just there's a lot. There's a lot of questions, but I don't really want to be parlaying Cecilie. Can she get the round 1 sub? Can she win the decision? Can Sara dance around and win a decision? Her margin's a little bit slim, but she's definitely the better striker. My boy Moyes, Cecilie by KO. Yeah, I guess it's possible. She swings hard. And we see that Sara almost knocked out in her last fight. Plus the injuries, who knows? Mr. Dermo, bet online limits are shit for regionals this far out. They're not even out. But this doesn't start on Sunday. This doesn't start on the UFC day like usual. This is like a day after. So it's a bit interesting. All right, let's move on. From a betting perspective, this card, has a lot of squash and dogs that I'm tempted on, and it also has a lot of competitive fights, high-level fights. All right, Jakub Tichota versus Ozan Aslaner. So another massive favorite, Jakub, is like $1.18, $1.20 now. A little money has come in on Ozan. I'm not too sure why. I guess, he's young and he's had a title shot against Keita, who we'll speak about in the main event. And he didn't really do anything against Keita other than survive a beating till round 4. I faded him against George Steins, and George Steins beat the crap out of him, bloodied him up in round 1, and then just out grappled him for rounds 2 and 3. And George Steins was the underdog there. It's one of my favorite bets. I had to dig deep into tape to kind of see Jakub's takedown defense, and lost to Mateusz Anikadze, which I don't think is the best win either, and barely beat Kamula, who's this Finland dude grappler that's really not that great. He got taken down in round 2, and I think he barely won via round 3 points. I think he reversed him. So that's when I realized this guy doesn't really have the best takedown defense or get-ups. So George Steins was a smash spot. Ozan, I didn't go too in depth with him. I just wanted to see why he's such a massive underdog, and I didn't really get it. I mean, he knocked out Zafar Mohsen, who won as a big underdog in PFL recently, but right after that, he got suspended for PEDs, steroids. But yeah, he knocked him out. He seems, to pass the eye test. He beat the dive guy, 19-6. Lost to Abi Mezidov, 3 years ago. And then 2 years ago, he made his octagon debut and was doing all right. And then he got a knee injury, blew his knee out, and he hasn't fought in 2 years. He's still 27, but yeah, there's no point banging on too much about this. I mean, it's clearly dog or pass. So, I don't understand why Jakub is this much of a favorite on losing 3 fights back to back. He hasn't really shown anything other than there might be some hype on him, but I don't really get it. Might be some octagon hype, but yeah, Ozan or pass. But it's just, do you want to play him? Coming off a knee injury, but who knows? Why not? A little bit of money is coming on him already on Bet365, so get on it, I guess. Get on it. All right, we have a really high-level fight here. I'll get to it once I address my comments. Tichota has no business at 155. Is that 155? Did he move up? Is that what I'm looking at? Let me have a look. Lightweight. Was he lightweight before? I think he fought Keita at featherweight. Let me have a look. He did. And now he's moved up to lightweight. Yeah, but I guess he's young. Maybe he's feeling into his body. But yeah, another thing to consider. Dogfather's played Aslaner plus 425. He didn't say anything. What a dog. Living up to his name. Plus 425. What is it now? It's still good. Oh, it's plus 330. All right. Interesting. You have lines for Octagon, but you didn't have lines for KSW last week, dog. Interesting. Made sense. You weren't crying about anything this week. All right. Really high level fight here. Mateusz Legierski versus Agi Sardari. I would say both these guys could be in the UFC. Sardari, Cage Warrior mainstay, 18-5. Beat some good guys like Jack Grant, Osman Minbatirov in Aries, and yeah, just beat Attila Korkmaz recently in Octagon. Had a competitive fight with Lasoon Keita, who's in the main event. Again, we'll speak about him. Competitive as in he lost rounds 1 and 2 clear, and then he almost hurt and finished Keita and took him down and won rounds 3. So, I think did better than a lot of people expected. But whenever he takes a step up, Michael Figlak, Keita, a couple of others, he kind of loses, other than Jack Grant. He's really good volume. He fights well from both stances. He seems to have good jiu-jitsu. He goes for a single leg. Doesn't really have the best wrestling, I will say. But yeah, really well-rounded fighter. And he does get dropped a lot, so he might be chinny potentially. Mateusz Dynamite Legierski, this guy's been fighting for a long, long time. Octagon mainstay. Then he went to KSW, and now he's back in Octagon. Yeah, he's just he's a massive Polish ape. Keeps coming forward, doesn't have much defense. Chin seems to be quite good. He tanks a lot of damage. He's got power in that right hand. And, not the best wrestler, but he's a good back taker. He likes to clinch a lot, and he's a good back taker. And, not the best submissions. I mean, how many rear naked chokes does he have? He has one over the same guy, Kahoot, who's not good at all. And, the rest is just like knockouts and decisions. So, yeah, he's a slight favorite. I think he should be the favorite based on being slightly younger and the hardware. Like, he hits harder, he has a better chin, whereas Sardari, as I said, constantly dropped. And, yeah, I mean, it kind of feels competitive, but I do feel like Legierski should be the favorite. Do I want to play him? I don't know. I'm tossing up. The line is not really moving. If I play him, I feel like it could be competitive, and then and if I'm relying on big moments, I could regret it. Like in KSW last week, I played Roman Debian at Pick'em. I thought he could knock out a 37-year-old. Labut didn't get any moments. Same with this guy, Legierski, could he get out volumed? Maybe. But it's Legierski or pass for me. He's live for the knockout here. He fought Akon Wanlis last time, and just manhandled him, right? Wanlis just kept getting dropped and hurt, even though he was outstriking him. So this guy has good hardware on him. So if he just pressures Sardari, he could run through him. Sardari was kind of outvoluming Korkmaz in his last one, and then out of nowhere just got hurt in rounds 2 and almost got knocked out. And then round 3 was quite competitive. So I thought Sardari was very lucky to win that fight. So he's always slim margins. Decision against Blasco, it's whatever. He lost 30-10 and 7 to Figlak, submitted by McColgan. Split decision to Donovan Desmay, split decision to Jack Grant. Yeah. Mateusz Legierski will pass for me from a betting perspective. Let's move on. Mr. Demo, Agi pushed Keita all the way. Well, both these guys have fought Keita, actually, and Legierski didn't. He also won a round, but he didn't really hurt him like Sardari. Legierski had a broken arm, I think, round 1, and he still stole the round from Keita. So Keita will speak about, he's kind of not fighting, doesn't have that aura that he used to back in the day, but we'll speak about that in man event. Moyes, Sardari, let's go. Why you like Sardari, mate? Let me know. Aggie for the baggie. Why does everyone like about Agi Sardari here? Akon is a meme guy. Akon is a bum, but he has some massive arms and some physical advantages that a lot of these fighters don't. All right, Radovan Uskrt versus Daniel Schwindt. Schwindt, I haven't taped 1 second of him because there's no odds. And just kind of don't want to waste my time. Usually Bet365 is really good. And even when there's like last minute changes for KSW on the day off, they add that fight. They didn't do it last week, and they're not doing it with OKTAGON this week. So I'm not going to tape just in case. I don't want to waste my time. All right, Jonas Magard versus Igor Severino. Really, really high level fight, right? Jonas, I think, could be in the UFC personally. Igor Severino was in the UFC. I thought he was doing quite well against Andreas Lima before biting and getting disqualified and getting cut. So, this line is hovering around Pick'em. Igor Severino took a little bit of action. He's slight favorite, $1.80. He will come forward. He will pressure. He's one of those shooter box guys. He's not at the main shooter box, but he fights like a shooter box. Constant pressure, striking, rinse and repeat takedowns, got good jiu-jitsu, good subs. Not the best control, but his cardio seems amazing, and he just keeps on building, as the fight goes on. He's been dropped and hurt a couple times, but just gets up and pours it on. A lot of finishes. He seems like he's always going for the finishes. I live bet him against Andrea Lima. He got hit a bit in round 1 against Andrea Lima in his UFC debut, and he was reversed, put himself in a guillotine. But then round 2, it seemed like he was breaking Andrea Lima a bit, and that fight has aged well because Andrea Lima is still undefeated in the UFC, and he's beat Dos Santos in his last one, kind of rinsed him. So I think he's a good fighter. And Jonas Magard, I think, is a great fighter too, right? 32, he's beat who's who, right? He's got a good right hand. He's got good grappling, good wrestling himself, good guillotine. He lost to Felipe Lima, who is now 2-0 in the UFC. I think that's aged well. I always mention I bet Felipe Lima at $3.50. And Felipe won 4-1, I think, and 3-2. But that's aged well because see what Felipe Lima did to Miles Johns now. 30-27 him in the UFC, took his back. And he did the same to Magard. And, Magard actually won a round, clear round in round 3. Didn't get submitted. High-level fighter, beat Jack Cartwright, 30-27. Beat Josh Hill, who was in Bellator for a long time, 30-27. Yeah, very good fighter. So it's a competitive fight. I can't really get a strong read at the moment. Unfortunately, just like KSW last week, both these cards feel like you have to do a lot of tape. It's not like UFC where I can skim through and, I've watched these fights millions of times. They're competitive, they're high level, and you kind of need to tape deeper to get like the intricate details and see if there actually is a read that you can make. But Yeah, I don't know. I have to see how Magard handles pressure. Right, obviously Severino is going to constantly pressure him. Obviously he'll hit takedowns. I need to refresh how Igor's takedown defense is. Obviously he has get-ups. France Marambo guillotine choked Magard, and since then I've kind of been cautious of his submission defense, but he's gone into Jack Cartwright's guillotines and Felipe Lima's submissions, and he showed that might have just been a little fluke. He's obviously grapple left Liam Gittins in Cage Warriors as well, so it's interesting fight. Interesting fight. I think Jonas can crack old mate. I think Igor can crack him. He can hit some submission takedowns. Both have wrestling game plans. So, yeah, competitive fight. No interest from a betting perspective at the moment. But we'll see. We'll see as I dig deeper, After I do Ryzen tomorrow, I'll circle back to this card. I'm also doing a little bit of UFC, Take this time to get ahead. Start my 2025 with a bang. I've never started the year in minus, and I don't want to. I don't know how I'll react to that. I don't want to freak out. So, all right. Pirate, everyone who's on Aggie, the line hasn't moved. Who is on Aggie, mate? I haven't heard of anyone that's betting Sardari. Mark thinks the Keita line should be wider. We'll talk about that soon enough. Stick around, my friend. Moyes, Magard baby, vet lesson incoming. I don't disagree, my friend. I don't disagree. I'm kind of leaning Magard. He's the guy's high level. Felipe 10-8'd Magard. I mean, in one round, yeah, but man, Felipe is just an animal. He's an animal, right? And we're seeing just how good that kid really is. How are they going to size up? That's a good point. Igor is moving up to bantamweight. He fought at flyweight in UFC. He's moving up to bantamweight. I'm pretty sure OKTAGON has flyweight, so I'm wondering why he's doing that. Correct me if I'm wrong. Aaron Abbey is a flyweight, and Sam Creasy is a flyweight too, right? So unless they both move to bantamweight, so we'll have a look. Yeah, I'd rather play Magard at dog money, to be honest. All right. Lucy Pudilova versus Lucia Szabova. Interesting names, right? Yeah, as I said, Lucy cut from the UFC recently, just fought in a title eliminator against Cecilie Bolander, who we spoke about, the judoka, and she was like lighting her up early and then kind of got cracked and then gave up some top time. And sorry, I just got a text. I got an inbox from Pirate, even though he's in the live chat here. Pirate mate, just ask me in the live chat. You're distracting me. But yeah, she had a title fight and it was competitive. She started off well and just kind of dropped the ball and made it a split decision, which is what Lucy Pudilova does. If you followed her career in the UFC, she barely has no good wins. And she's been cut and then brought back, and she beat Wu Yayan, and other than that, no good wins. Lost a split to Edwards. You can say that was a robbery, but slim margins. Aline Perez, rinsed her round 1 and 2. Then she kind of came back and almost won. Luana Carolina just looked like bad in that fight. Yeah, essentially Lucy can't string 15 minutes together. She seems to have some mental issues. Sometimes she comes in looking like she's half asleep, and yeah, she pretty much loses to all the grapplers. Right. Lucy Szabova, she's a highly ranked prospect, right? 27. She loves to grapple. She's just beat everyone she's faced. 8-0. A lot of bums on the record. She's done some things that a little bit of a red flag, like against this Rosa Gumiena. She kept going for armbars, fell off the top. Aitana Alvarez, she manhandled her. Alvarez, is not a bantamweight. She moved up quite a bit to fight her. I think that was a catchweight though. But that tells me that Lucia Szabova is not a bantamweight either, because she could make the catchweight, right? It's definitely not a big bantamweight, but Lucy's also fought a flyweight in the UFC. So yeah, Lucia, she's going to grapple. Pudilova's lost to grapplers before, other than Lucy Bolander. So $1.40. I don't know how I feel. It's a 5-rounder. Don't really know who has the better cardio here. Pudilova has won round 3s before. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. Definitely not interested in Pudilova as a dog. Like I don't know how she wins this, but maybe Lucy is a parlay piece here. Like she's, even if she starts slow, she's reliable to kind of keep hitting takedowns and re-naked and back control later on in the fight. So, but man, not sure I'm a guy to parlay women's, right? These kind of women. Mr. Demo says the flyweight division isn't deep. Correct, it's not deep at all. Moyes is Szabova by distraction. Prolova is done. A reaction to Bolander hooks. Durability dusted. Yeah, I mean, hasn't really been knocked out much. I think you're really holding on to that result right there. You know, hoping that Pudilova's washed and can be knocked out, and also hoping that Bolander can knock out her opponent because of those hooks. But who knows? You might be right. Sometimes things are extremely obvious on tape. Alrighty. Carlos Famola, Will Fleury. So, mirror matchup. Another title fight. Mirror matchup. Two apes, absolute apes, who like to grind and grapple and get their opponents on the ground and get a rear naked choke, get a knockout, ground and pound, and they will just rinse and repeat. Both have been knocked out before. Carlos Famola just one fight ago, knocked out cold by Samuel Kristofich, which is that guy doesn't hit that hard, to be honest. And Will Fleury has been sparked cold by my boy Alan Amadovsky, the Macedonian brawler, back in 2018. Other than that, he's lost to Norbert Novenyi, got arm triangle choke by Marcel Rozonsky, who is in KSW right now. Hey, he just likes to grapple. He grapples everyone. Not the best wins on his record. He's gone 5 rounds in the UAE Warriors against Tarek Suleiman. And Anthony Salamone in PFL, not the best win. Krzysztof Jotko, that is the fight that stopped me from locking in Fleury. I actually thought that I would play him at juice. I thought him at OKTAGON at light heavyweight, he looks like a completely different person. He looks like he's on all the supplements in the world. Complete different body. He's all hairy now and he's got acne everywhere. At 35 years of age, like, come on. And obviously, it's not speculation because he failed a ped test against Jotko. But in that fight, he's getting grappled. He got grappled, and there's not much footage of Will Fleury actually getting taken down and anyone doing the same game plan on him, which is what obviously Carlos Famola is going to do. But yeah, watching that fight, I don't think Jotko is the most physical guy. He's an ex-middleweight, and yeah, it wasn't the best look. But Jotko is a good weasel, right? Famola is going to just go in there and look to go head-to-head. I do think Fleury probably has a slightly better chin and more power. They both handled Pavel Langra accordingly. Both knocked him out in round 1. So, yeah, Famola's been fighting a lot of bums. Lucas Alcina is awful, and he got reversed in round 2 there. Patrick Kinsel, good opponent, but he lost 4-1 or 5-0 every single round, just held him against the cage. Pavel Langra, bum. Samuel Kristofich knocked him out. And Attila Vey, a guy that's been retired for years and just, submitted in round 2. So I lean Fleury, he's not 40 years old, he's 35, but just don't know how this fight plays out. If he gets extended and they're both grappling and grinding on each other. Carlos Famola, he's also on all the juice in the world. So let me have a look. Let me have a little look at I'll take a lot of fights. And he's fighting a lot of strikers, the guys that he can take down and submit. Like, just dudes that he can rear naked choke. He has rear naked choked. It's a tough one. But it's Will Fleury or pass for me personally. But yeah, what do the comments think? Battle of the Ape, correct. I mean, these guys couldn't be any more like. Moyes thinks Will. No special reason. He's on Testo and Tren. Mate, if you don't think Famola is on every single supplement in Czech Republic, don't know what to tell you. Famola a midget. Yeah, he's built like a brick shithouse though. That photo of Fleury was taken many peds ago. Indeed. Fleury a pass. I get this feeling like the Fleury can knock him out. Not because he's knocked out the last 2 fragile OKTAGON guys, but he just seems so much more physical and juiced. And we've seen Famola knocked out before. All right. Top fight on the card, really high level. 2 guys in their prime. Ronald Paradeiser, 27-year-old versus 26-year-old, almost the same age, few months difference. They're rematching. They already fought years and years ago. And the same Keita ended up with a competitive yet unanimous decision, 4-1 on the judges' scorecards, which I didn't really agree with. I thought it could be at least 3-2. Ronald. It was back in 2022. That felt like a lot longer ago, to be honest. Only two years ago. But yeah, it felt a lot more competitive. You know, Ronnie took him down in round 1. He took his back for majority of it, but then when he got up, he kind of gave up a moment on the feet. And you know, he took him down multiple times. Rounds 2 or 3, 2 got dropped bad again. Round 3, I think, is the round that judges unanimously gave to Ronnie. Keita kind of took the round off, and Ronnie outstruck him. And then 4, he took him down, but he got dropped again, I think, in 5. Didn't really do much, and he was kind of gassed and flopping to his back, and his face was all bloody. Essentially, I think the trajectory that these two guys are on, I think they're both high level. I think Ronnie has lost a lot more fights when he was young. You know, he's got 8 losses, and you know he's avenged his fight against Buchinger. I played him there massively. I think I put like 4,000 on him at Pick'em, and I think he would avenge a lot of these rematches, right? Because he was a lot younger, and you know, Keita on the other side has always looked like a phenom, like tons of aura, like he's never going to lose a fight. He's just knocking out everyone. His only loss is to Sanikadze via toe injury or foot injury, so he should be potentially 16-0. But he's kind of he's pitted out a little bit. Like I think his aura has dropped a little bit. Like he's not knocking out dudes as much as he used to be. As I mentioned, the Agi Sardari fight, he almost got finished in round 3, but good recovery. Knocked out Predrag Bogdanovic, which is a good win. You know, 16-1. And Mateusz Legierski, you know, Legierski broke his arm in round 1, and then he dropped round 3 to him again, just based on volume. So he's dropping rounds. He's not knocking out dudes as much as he used to. Obviously, I think a lot of these guys that he fought was kind of favorable. You know, Ronnie back in the day was a lot younger, a lot more green. You know, knocking out Buchinger, it's like whatever. He's always been chinny. Rashavi, chinny. Yeah, so a lot of these fights just end up looking good for him. But, you know, the Samuel Bark fight is good. Jakub Tichota, who we just spoke about, beating him means nothing. Nico Samsudin, yeah, knocked him out. It's a good win, but Nico kind of seems chinny as well. Yeah, I can't get a good read on this fight. You know, I think Ronald has improved a lot. He's very technical. He always has that grapple upside. Keita can be taken down. We see it in almost every single fight, but he's just so hard to control, so hard to submit. He seems to have the hardware advantage. Like, obviously, hits a lot harder. Obviously, has better durability. But Ronnie cracked him in rounds 2 as well. Ronnie kind of stumbled him in round 2 before he got him dropped himself. So you can hurt Keita. You can take him down. This is a 5-rounder. It's a lightweight again. I think personally Keita should be a featherweight. He's a featherweight champion as well. Well, he lost it to Mate Sanikadze due to injury. He lost it, but then he won it against Nico. Again, I don't know why Mate didn't fight for the title, but yeah, I think he might be better at featherweight. He's going to be much bigger than him, Ronald. But Ronald's also a big lightweight. He barely makes weight. He always has weight cutting issues. You know, he barely beat old mate Attila Korkmaz. So yeah, I don't know. It's hard to get a read. Like, I feel like Lausanne has the same advantages over him again, but I feel like if Ronald just fights slightly smarter, which you could do because it's a rematch, he could make this very competitive. He could play like a pick and fight. But then there's also issues of the cardio. Like Ronald's cardio is not the best. He always drops round 3. It's a tough one, man. It's a tough one. It's another extremely competitive octagon fight that I'm not going to rush. We've got almost a week till the event is on. So I've done my tape early, and I'm just going to sit on it, do more tape, probably over tape like I usually do, and then see if I have a strong read and try and make some money. Like, I'm annoyed that I donated some profits on KSW when I had a lock, had that Waco guy, like almost $2,000 on him. So I'm not gonna lock in competitive fights that I don't have a good read on. You know, I need some profit to end the year. You know, Christmas time. So yeah, we'll go over the card and see what we got. Right, Jakub. I'm honestly close to parlaying Jakub. Right, like this Dominik. It just seems like a levels fight, even though Jakub is green. It seems like they're setting him up. Novak. I can make the argument for both. I feel like Kurhela is going to have a really good round 1. More power, more physical. But then Novak, if he puts on the grind, even though his wrestling's not the best, I think he could edge it out. But edging out, not really interested. Cecilie, Bolander, Smajic, I mean, I can make the argument for both. Aslaner has to be a plate. I think that's going to be a poke for me, but I'll do a bit more tape. Legierski or Sardari, again, why are people playing Sardari? Tell me. Tell me right now. But yeah, it's Legierski or pass for me. Uskrt, I will tape if odds come out anywhere. Magard, Severino. Honestly, it's Magard or pass for me. Really high-level fighter. Severino moving up. And he's the dog. We'll see. Kurhela, Szabova, Lucia, Szabova. I mean, yeah, I think it's a favorite to pass for me. Never Lucy put all over for me. Ramola, Fleury or pass. Keita, Paradeiser. I don't know. I could make an argument for both, but my gut is kind of saying Keita. Like in a 5-rounder with like big moments for Keita. Don't know, but the line has moved a bit, so don't know how much value I'm getting. All right. What do we have? Ramola looks ripe to be bonked again. I agree. No one wears a bandana with Allah written on it. Give me Ronald by leg kick KO. Mate, Ronald also hates leg kicks. I'll say that. Competitive distance fight. I agree. Need some bloody props. I mean, we had props once when Keita knocked out Samsudin and Paradeiser was knocked out Buchina. I regret not playing that. And we also had under 1.5 on Panaz. That was the day to smash all the unders, and then Bet365 never put him out again. It's pretty funny. Pirate should have bet the house on Rocco. I agree, we should have, but at least I bet something. I bet 500 on Rocco. Yeah, nice, good job. Feed the world, let them know it's Christmas time again. Feed the world, let them know it's Christmas time again. Indeed. Well, I'll do what I can, lads. I gave out Usyk last week. I'm trying to give out more plays on Twitter. I'm trying to be more giving, but just there's no time, you know. I'm trying to make like videos, YouTube shorts, so the world sees it, but yeah, no time. Anyway, that's it. Like and subscribe. Thanks for listening, and tune in for the Ryzen breakdown in 2 days. Peace out.